In 1980, Lucio Fulci released one of my favourite films of his, City of the Living Dead, now out from Cauldron in 4K UHD, and it looks wonderful. This was one of those movies that just got under my skin first time I watched it. The plot can be a little loose. The idea of the zombies, if you want to call them that, are again a little bit loose. The rules aren't quite intact. But my goodness, this thing has some wonderful leads. It has some wonderful tension. It builds terrific atmosphere and has this pulsating and wonderful score that just drives the movie forward, creating those terror moments and the horrifying elements within the film.
The dead! I see the dead! City of the dead!
The story here is about a seance at the start where a psychic sees a priest killing himself in a cemetery and opening the gates of hell. And they have, or the people in the film have, until All Saints' Day to get there, close the gates before the dead take over the world. Sounds fairly simple, but to be honest, it took me a couple of watches to pull that from the story, because it is a little bit all over the place. You have some wonderful actors in here as well. Christopher George plays Peter, a reporter who's just... There's something about the guy. You know that way when he pops up on screen, you can tell he's the hero. You can tell you're kind of with him. You want to see what journey he's going to go on. We've got Caroline McCall, who plays Mary. She's someone that gets buried alive at the start of this one. Although you don't know that. It leads to a wonderful moment in the cemetery where Peter is watching the sort of coffin being filled in and then walks away as Mary wakes up, realising what's happened. And they draw that sequence out so long that it's bordering on frustrating. But my goodness, is it just tense and exciting. Just on the borderline of too much, which I really enjoy. They kind of go on a road journey to find Dunwich to try and solve everything. And amongst that, we've got Giovanni Lombardo Radice, who plays Bob, always great, who recently passed away, sadly. And he's just kind of bumbling along throughout this Dunwich world, almost spreading the horror. This is a film that has some of the best effects I've ever seen. I love the bleeding eyes and the offal coming out of the woman's mouth within the van at the truck at the start of this one. It was such a wonderful effect. Shocking the first time I saw it. The drill through the head is another one where it is brutal, violent, gory. The brains being grabbed out the back of people's skulls is another one where it's just icky and disgusting, but yet somehow super cool at the same time. And this movie has a certain look and tone to it. A certain look and tone that drags me in every time with this atmosphere, how it creates it. It's as if everything is covered in a layer of mist. Fine mist where it's almost just struggling to see any kind of sequence of what's going on. Everything just looks ominous, whether it be a house just sitting there alone, a little bit of fog, a little bit of mist, the music that plays over it, and you've got instant terror. People just walking about houses or walking down passageways or into caverns under gravestones. It just all lends itself to terror and horror. City of the Living Dead is one of those phenomenal Italian horror films where it's like a litmus test. If you watch that and you kind of get it and you enjoy it, you kind of know that most of the Italian genre stuff you're going to kind of like, because as assured and as confident as the filmmaking is, the story is not entirely laid out for you. It can jump all over the place. Like I said, you've got these, what seems like zombies, but are able to kind of teleport, or kind of ghostly figures. Whenever the ghost priest turns up, people just are transfixed and just bleed from their eyes, and have other terrible things happen as well. The rules aren't exactly stated, but we don't need them. We just know that things are wrong, and we need our hero, Peter Bell, to stand up and save the day. Like I said, I loved our main characters and the kind of burgeoning relationship that they had as well. City of the Living Dead will always be fantastic and one of my favourite Fulci films. This was terrific to see in 4K, and it just looked wonderful. There's an array on extras in this one as well. City of the Living Dead, highly recommended. If you haven't seen it, there is a standard edition out now from Cauldron on 4K. I suggest picking that up because it's the best version of the film I have seen as yet, and it's just phenomenal. I would love to know your thoughts on this film. Let me know in the comment box below whether you loved it, hated it, fell somewhere in the middle, whatever. I will want to get your opinion as well. There is more content up here if you want to see more of my stuff, and in the description box below are links to the Patreon, the membership programme, and manvfilm.com, all ways in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.